My name is Michael Holden, and I'm a fellow of the RICS. I'm very proud to be president of NEA Propertymark. I've been a chartered surveyor for 34 years now, qualified in December 1990. And I run and own a practice in the Northwest called Holdens, Chartered Surveyors and Property Consultancy. And that's now been taken over by my sons. I would say we're a general practice firm, although we do a lot of building surveying work now, and sort of specialise in high-end residential and commercial surveys, you know, historic buildings. We manage property as well, so we block manage. I've got a grade 2 star and a grade 2 listed buildings in Barrow and Furness, which are very difficult, but we're getting a real grip of that now. And we also manage ASTs as well, so you know, your typical terraced house, your detached house, your apartment. We manage that for a client, and we do a turnkey service. On the building surveying side, we'll do PPM work, that's planned and preventative maintenance work. We do valuations for clients, for pension funds, for commercial, for instance. And our strength is that we are locally based. We've 3 offices, one in Kendal, one in Accrington and one in Bolton. So we're sort of the equivalent of your James Herriot of your chartered surveyors, and we take that professionalism very, very seriously indeed. And that's through our training, mentoring, and how we talk to our clients as well. Yeah, absolutely we do. I wouldn't say, I think it's a bit arrogant to call yourself a specialist in certain areas. I mean, I can tell you the jobs I've been involved in, and you could say, well, actually, that is quite specialist. I mean, I've surveyed Blackburn Railway Station, Accrington Market, you know, grade 2 listed buildings, and it's sort of awe-inspiring, you know, the Victorian engineering that goes into these buildings. But we looked at really large properties, and each property that we look at, particularly the bigger ones, they have a history with them. So there's one somewhere overlooking Lake Windermere, which apparently, or allegedly, was the place where one of the great train robbers hid in the attic. And I spent, I think, 2 days looking for a suitcase in the attic. But that was a grade 2 listed property, but it was an amazing arts and craft style property. So we see some really interesting real estate. Right, well, it's ambassadorial, and it's NAEA Propertymark. I'm commercial NEA, so you know, being a rent review surveyor, release renewal, you know, dilapidations, that type of surveyor, it sort of naturally went into work. I've done a fair bit of agency and development work as well. We have a combined membership of over 18,000 now. We're run by an amazing CEO, and I mean that very sincerely. That he's a member as well. We have a great board, and we have regional executives. I think we've 85 plus regional executives up and down the country. We've got Northern Ireland, Wales, Scotland, England, and we look after our membership. That's really important. One thing that attracted me to Propertymark was that membership, the care for the membership that we have, and we've got a huge conference coming up on the 14th of June in central London, and that's going to be very well attended. We have the former housing minister, I mean, before obviously the election was called, and we have some celebrities there as well, which is great, it really is. And my tenure ends in July, and I've had 3 years in the presidential team of thoroughly enjoying the professionalism and the concern that team has for its own membership. We use drones. Got CAA qualified, you know, we're drone pilots, and they're really effective at drones. And we've used drones for maybe, I don't know, maybe 15 years now, Ian. It's not that we've just, you know, jumped on the bandwagon with it. pole technology, which is great. 11 metre, 10 metre poles with, an iPhone on the end of it or a camera. Infrared technology that we use. We're now getting into scanning technology as well, and I think the younger generation of the practice particularly want to develop that, but with regard to building surveys. So we can scan a building and prepare that building for a client for maybe alterations or repairs, and we can map out those, measure those repairs as well, so we can say it's going to need X square metres of, the roof bit to be repaired in this area, or this amount, X square metres, is going to be repointed. We can draw specification up for pointing and, that type of thing. Particularly when we're talking of older historic buildings, we're using lime materials. We are starting to use technology. And we use Surventrix as well. Embraced it. I think the reason for adopting Surventrix was, there's two. It's personal for me, because, Ian Bullock's a good friend of mine, and I've got a huge respect for him as a chartered surveyor. But also, it's the competency that he affords you as a surveyor. And I have been using Surventrix personally in the work that we do, but the entire team use it. So it's great for booking in the job. It's great for compliance. It's got all the relevant areas that you need, and I like it. What can I say? It's good. I mean, I've used other products as well. I don't use iPads. I'm still old school scribing, whereas others use iPad technology. But I found it very useful. I'm writing a building survey up at the moment, today, tomorrow, and then I'll get it across to my client. But to upload photographs en masse, for instance, to the system, and then select those and put them in the reports. Just a very, very user-friendly system it is. I think the uploading the photographs en masse and then choosing them at the moment, I quite like that. I like the fact that it keeps me on the straight and narrow as well in terms of compliance. I do like that. I think that's really important. But there's not one particular aspect of it. I think it's just a good product. Yes, I would, particularly to my colleagues who are RICS members. But I think Surventrix can go further than that. I think in terms of the development of Surventrix, I think the fact that Ian is so happy to talk about, product improvement, because you have continuous improvement that goes on with a product like this, and I'm more than happy to help out with that side of things, because I can bring in a third of a century's worth of experience into that, and you can mix the art and the science up, and I think you've got a good product there. When I had my developing heart attack on the 13th of January this year, my life was saved. And there's a video that was taken by the hospital. I went down to the University Hospital, North Midlands. So there's only a few specialist centres. Blackpool is one, Midlands is another. And, you're down into, the southern counties as well for specialist cardiac repair work. And I know that my life was saved by amazing professionals. And I didn't really think about dying, although I had between maybe a few days and a month to live, because I had completely blocked arteries. And it got me thinking about the fella who was in the bed opposite me at Blackburn Royal Infirmary when I first went in there, who'd refused an operation, and he was in real trouble. And I only wished that he'd have had someone who could maybe metaphorically put his arm around their arm around their shoulder, and that's why I'm fundraising. So I'm aiming to raise £10,000 to raise awareness of hypertension, because it really does impact on, it's called a silent killer, and it really does impact on people, both men and women. And all of a sudden, you can be walking along and bang. I could be in this interview with you if I hadn't have had my operation, and you could have looked one way and I could have been on the floor and you'd have been giving me CPR. You know, it's as simple as that. I was that close to pushing up the daisies. But it doesn't bother me. I want to move forward and raise some money for the charity. Well, I'm walking across North Scotland from a place called Scourie to John O'Groats. So why Scourie? Well, it's close to a hippie commune on the way up to Durness. And but I was in the Ascent Mountain Rescue Team. They used to use me as a casualty up there many times. And but I worked up there as well, so I know the area really well. And what I'm really proud of is I've had so many people say, you know, I'll help you, I'll sponsor, but I'll come and walk with you as well. So I've got a lot of all my rugby mates, former rugby mates, you know, who are going to come along and maybe walk on that path. I'll just make it a bit further for them, you know what I mean? Well, there's a link to the charity website. I think it's a GoFundMe page, and it's properly authorised by the University Hospital North Midlands charity. So it's all, you know, done legitimately that way. And so there's a link to that, so you'd follow the link. But it's not just about fundraising. It's about raising awareness of hypertension and, you know, that it can, if you can get a grip of it at early stages, there's no more, you can deal with it. You don't want to have to go through what I did, was ignoring it for a decade and then thinking you had stomach problems and really it was angina and, you know, that type of thing. You need to look at your lifestyle and those factors, you know, obesity, stress, you know, issues with the lack of exercise, and with me, genetic factors as well. But if you can look at addressing those main issues, I can't do anything about the genetics, but I can do a lot about the lifestyle factors. So I don't worry about things anymore. I might worry a bit about things, but I don't worry a lot about them. And I want to raise that money, so maybe there's a booklet that was produced by a Scottish hospital to deal with rehabilitation for cardiac patients who've had bypasses and stents. It's brilliant, and I hope that could be the £10,000 if we get that. Can be used, you know, to help raise awareness by way of a booklet for the next people who come through who are worried about, you know, their cardiac health and that type of thing. Okay, well, you can do it via the website, which is www.holdenscs.co.uk, or telephone the office. You know, the main office is 01254 505 031, and if you speak to Kate, Lizzie or Jaeger, they can talk you through and then introduce you to a surveyor as well, and you might be able to have a chat with me and I can bore you silly about surveys.